Okay, amazing. So we're going to get started. So hey, I'm Rachel, Senior UI Designer here at Just Eat Takeaway.
And I'm Maria, and I'm front-end engineer, and we both work in design system team. So you already know what we do, thanks to Alice's nice intro, so let's dive straight in. First of all, throughout the talk, we will be referencing to justeattakeaway.com as JET for short, just to save some time. Don't be surprised. So JET is a big company, as you already know, and we grew to this size through a number of business acquisitions.
And then last year, as a company, it was decided that we need to start unifying our customer-facing apps. So kind of create a consistent user experience, and kind of this is where design systems really came into play. So design systems weren't an unknown concept at Jet. Because of obviously all the legacy business acquisitions that had happened along the way, it left two main design systems, but with very different histories, structures, and usage. Noting we do have more design systems here at Jet supporting other businesses as well, but both Pi and Snacks support our two primary customer-facing platforms. So we started here.
So on one hand, we have a design system called Pi, which stands for Principles of Interfaces and Experiences. And it originated from a team of developers from Just Eat side and started as a UI components library to reduce code duplication and to promote consistency across different code bases. And it's written in a framework.
Designers got involved much later in the process of Pi, only really when they started to create a visual design language. This was then adopted by the text library.
It consists of 30 atom, molecule, and more complex organism components, and it also has pages and templates as part of the library. And it supports 25 different teams across different platforms, including iOS and Android mobile applications. And on the other hand, we have a system called Snacks, and it stems from a collaborative design developer team on Takeaway side. And it had business investments from the beginning, and it was written using React framework. And it consists of 60 atom and molecule components that are agnostic to business logic. And it's solely focused on supporting one customer-facing product. And one of the main differences of these two design systems is that Snacks is released as one single library package, while Pi releases each component independently.
So this left us with two very different design systems with different UIs, different tech stacks, and two completely separate teams. We couldn't just pick one of the design systems and start forcing everyone to use it, because that just wouldn't have gone down very well. So we needed to start exploring how we could bring these two design systems closer together. So we knew we needed to align multiple design systems to create one unified language in order to achieve our business goal of creating a consistent user experience.
So we started thinking about how we can solve this problem, considering time limitation, which we continuous feature development by multiple work streams, which we couldn't freeze. Also, we had multiple product requirements we need to take into account, different technical stacks with different foundations, and multiple platforms to support. We knew we had a lot to untangle, so we took it all and narrowed our focus down to three main areas.
But because our main goal was to, of course, have a unified visual language, this is where we started. So previously on the Just Eat side of things, we had a project called Icing happen, which really took steps to create a more modern and bold user interface. So, I mean, that was great for us because it meant that decision had already been made in terms of a new global visual direction. So on the left, we've got the kind of pre-icing version, and on the right, we've got the kind of post-icing version, which really took steps to celebrate our new brand orange, really bring the content into the main focus, and overall just create a new and modern look. Pi's role was really crucial in the development of icing, as it was the design system that already supported the legacy Just Eat platforms, so it meant that the resulting implementation was fairly seamless because it was already integrated.
So we now needed to ensure that Snacks design system was pulling from the same visual language. And despite the core requirements for both systems different, with Pi having a more comprehensive but generalized approach, while Snacks was more a specialized design system supporting only one platform, there was still a significant amount of overlap between them. And looking at the components, we can see that both systems have what you can refer as core components like buttons, modals, tabs, and it was from both design and engineering perspective. And we knew that we couldn't reduce duplication from technical perspective just because we still needed to continue supporting projects that use both Vue and React frameworks.
But we could remove the design duplication and create one design single source of truth. So on the left and right, we've got the exact same components, but we've got two different, very different visual languages, as well as very different naming conventions. We've got like toggle versus select, segmented control versus options, but actually these things are really easy to align. But the component consolidation aspect, like not so much. Even though we've got the same components in two different design systems, like we had different variants, we had different modifiers, behaviors and interactions were different, and also the way the teams use these components differed as well. So what we decided to do was do a gap analysis. So we identified the requirements on both sides and really took these and assessed them, not just to kind of where they were used currently, but their benefit to the business as a whole, which was great. So where this left us was that we actually took the Pi core Figma file, and we actually added 7 new components and 22 component consolidations out of the requirements that we had assessed on the Snack side. All this into one main file, all pulling from one token source of truth. But tokens weren't quite as easy on the development side of things.
Yeah, and as Pi tokens were already used by Vue.js platform, by iOS and Android apps, we decided to go forward with the adoption by Snacks as well. And as you can imagine, adoption of new visual language is prone to breaking both visually and functionally. So we decided to split it into stages. And we started with fundamental updates like typography, colors, spacing, etc. And we made sure that new tokens were available in the system. But because of the significant difference between Snacks design tokens and Pi design tokens, we allowed duplication at this stage, and we had both sets of tokens available in the system. And then we moved to component updates. So here you see a button component as an example of transition. And on the left-hand side, we have initial tokens used by Snack system for properties like font size, line height, radius, etc. And on the right-hand side, you can see that we introduced a level of abstraction with component alias CSS variables. They start from button in their name. And first of all, we map them to initial Snacks tokens, meaning that they will not be visual change for end users. We introduced new CSS variables also to make sure that Pi requirements were met. And then when we were happy, we then just swapped all the old Snacks tokens to new Pi tokens, which are on dark background there. And it's worth mentioning that the nature of component updates went beyond basic theming. It would be really easy to just swap colors, change some border colors, and this will be it. But we had variants, modifications, different states, and compositional changes. And what's more, for the sake of velocity, the migration introduced a certain amount of technical debt, which we obviously took into account and planned to address after the project was completed.
So not only did we have both design and development duplication, but we had 2 completely separate teams from 2 legacy businesses, each with their own ways of working and both very passionate about their design systems. We had notable differences in how the 2 teams aimed to approach the project, kind of address challenges, as well as like just general communication, so as you can imagine. So let's talk a little bit about how we addressed that. So collaboration really was key for us. We put a big effort into making sure that all parties kind of had a say in decision-making, but I'd be lying if I said it was easy all the time, because everyone had really strong views about what they saw for the future of design systems. So we remained pragmatic and focused on the most practical and feasible approach forward. And then once we were all on the same page, working towards a common goal, the collaboration definitely really improved.
Yeah, and we also introduced secondments for team members to share and gain knowledge between 2 technical teams. And this was the case for me. I used to work with Vue.js framework, and I joined React team to, first of all, share my experience of Pi tokens adoption and to obviously learn more about React design system team we had. And for the wider community, we introduced onboarding sessions like getting started with Figma for designers who used to work with different sets of tools before, and supporting to Pi for developers who were consuming our design system.
So after everything we've talked about, let me take you through what we actually managed to achieve. So if we look at the impact that the design system had on the takeaway app, so on the left, we've got the pre-project version, and on the right, we've now got the one that's now fully aligned to the new Jet visual language. It's using a brand new set of tokens, it's got a brand new set of iconography. We've removed the blue and really championing that brand orange, as well as a whole new set of core components that are now the same across our Just Eat platform as well. But we didn't just roll this out on the customer-facing sites, but also other products across the business. So no matter if you're a customer, delivery driver, or a restaurant partner, we're going to provide you the same look and feel and a consistent user experience no matter the product that you're interacting with.
And we were able to achieve this through the new structure of our now global design system. Pi evolved into a mature design by absorbing the best of two previous design systems we had. And we still support different tech frameworks, as you can see, but now they're all powered by one single design source of truth.
So if we look at from the design system team from a year ago to now, firstly, we are one single team all working together, which is absolutely amazing. We've also expanded since then and hired Ellis, which is great. But we're now all on a mission to maintain and evolve our global design system, both for our end users, but also our product-focused teams here at Jet.
And we introduced, for the community, we introduced a standardized support model, reducing the friction for consumers of our system. And we also started to collect regular to make sure that we give our users a voice in the direction of Pi.
And another big project they've been working on as well is our new documentation site, which is actually now live at pi.design. So check it out and let us know what you think. But what we've got currently on there is all things Pi, as well as getting started with the design system, both for developers and designers. And what we've got coming soon is our new accessibility hub, as well as component documentation and interactive playgrounds. But if you want to know any more about this, we've actually got Geordie and Jamie here tonight, who are the leads on this project. So definitely seek them out after this if you've got any more questions.
And we want to give you a bit of an insight what's next for our design system. We are currently developing a set of framework-agnostic web components, which we hope will be globally used across any Jet product, eliminating the component duplication that we couldn't address earlier. And even though mobile apps already use Pi foundations, we are planning to embed mobile developers into design system team to make sure that apps are fully integrated.
And as we mentioned before, we actually have other design systems here at Jet, and these enhancements are going to bring those teams on board. But we've still got a lot of work ahead of us to bring those teams into the Jet's global visual design system, Pi. But we all hope you've come away a little bit clearer with how to succeed as a business with multiple design systems to contend with.
That's it.